Okay, today we're going to have a pretty short video, so I'm just going to jump right into it. These are Jaune's elbow pads that he has in volumes 4 and 5, and these are a pretty simplistic design if I'm being honest. In the show you can actually see he's got like the elastic band on it, so that was really easy to attach if I'm being honest. Um, if I wanted to go the extra mile, I could have attached them to the gauntlets that I showed in the previous video, but would have been more work than it was worth. So right now I've got the right elbow pad, and you can see, so this is the lower part, so when I put it on, it goes right there, so you can see the scratches go a little more vertically. And like if they came down from here, that wouldn't make too much sense. But I'm really happy with how these came out. These were actually the first piece of armor that I decided to work on because I thought it would be pretty easy to do if I'm being honest, and it would be a good starting point to have. So yeah, I used pretty much the same materials as most of the other armor. It's EVA foam with that half density, half inch border around it with the black inner outline, inline. I don't know. But one thing that can be kind of a teaching lesson for this part is that I did not seal this with Plasti Dip. I actually used a triple thick clear glaze that you want to use. You can use that if you're not going to be seeing a lot of mobility in your armor. Like if it's something that isn't going to shift around too much or bend, triple thick glaze will work really well for a sealer. But if it moves a lot, you can actually see, like when it goes on my elbow, you can see those tiny little cracks in the armor. And since it's battle damage, you don't really notice too much, but when it was clean, it would pop a little more. So you want to look out for that, for finding a sealer that works for you. If you're going to be stressing the armor out a little bit, it could crack very easily. But other than that, I use like a enamel acrylic paint so that I would get kind of more of a sheen to the white. And the gold, again, is it's the same royal gold that I use for the rest of the armor. I've actually noticed in volume 5 especially, the armor looks much more bronze than gold. Like it has kind of a deeper tint to it. But I really like how the shine looks. You know, like I'll sacrifice a little bit of show accuracy just to make it look good for what I think. And yeah, the inside is you can see I have an R for right, so it goes on my right elbow. And this is all super glued to the elbow pad. So yeah, this little bit of elastic, you can honestly just eyeball it, like get one end on the middle of your arm, then wrap the rest of it around, mark where that is on the long side of it. So once you have that strip of elastic, that is the exact, what's the word? I'm going to say dimensions, the right dimension of your arm going around, diameter, the correct diameter of your arm. You want to take it in a little bit so it can like hug your arm and it won't slide off. But yeah, honestly, I think that'll do it. This is a very short video because this is a very small piece of armor. So you know what? This was very unsatisfying. So I'm just going to show another piece because all my other videos were over 10 minutes and this is barely 4 at this point. So yeah, I guess I'll stick with the theme we're having. So these are the gloves that I made for it. And what I did was the gloves that I purchased on Amazon, they technically aren't gloves. They're actually glove liners, but it's exactly what I needed for the cosplay. So, you know, I went ahead with it. And these are, I think these are actually, yeah, this is the second time I've made these gloves because the first time I ordered a large and they were just a little too big on me. Like, you know, they would fit well normally as a glove liner, but I really wanted to get a tight fit so you could So all the bits looked good on it. And in the show, so I actually kind of fudged the design a little bit on this, because in the show, all these little armor pieces, they wrap around the glove fully. But I wanted that extra bit of mobility for like tricks to do with the sword, and so the other side is just the glove. So again, you can fudge it a little bit if it will be easier for you. It really makes the design much easier to do. Like, these are all the same shape here, and same with the fingertips. Like and this is just a rectangle. You know, these are just stuff that you can trace on graph paper and then overlay it on your own fingers. So you like, you know what? Yeah, that's what I want that to look like. Or if it's too small, you just trace it again, and then something useful once you use it on graph paper. So it's a little flimsy. So if I know I'm going to be reusing a template a lot, I'll actually transfer that graph paper template onto like cardstock or something, so it can have a little bit more density to it. You know, like, so when I trace over it, it won't tear or like degrade over time. So yeah, these are all super glued to the glove as well. If you can't tell from my previous videos, I love using super glue in cosplay because it's just so easy. You know, it dries super quick. You don't burn yourself. It's not susceptible to heat. The only problem is, I really had to do this, and I should have had like a hand model, or not a model, but like a mold of my hand instead of just using it on my own, because like once I super glued all the pieces on, it was super glued to my hand, so I had to kind of go underneath with my finger and kind of break the seal in between the armor, the glove, and my actual hand, because you know I don't want to wear this for the rest of my life. And again, this is just a design that I trace on graph paper, just glued it on there. And since it's craft foam, you can still have these scratches. You know, you don't have as much wiggle room as you would for EVA foam, but you can still add those deep gouges. And for the blood effect, because I don't know if you can see it in this light, but it still does have a little bit of blood on it, and that was just done by dry brushing it on. So what dry brushing is usually, you know, you slather a paintbrush with a lot of paint, and you just kind of paint it on. But with dry brushing, it's kind of what it sounds like. You get a dry brush and as little pigment as you can, and then you kind of like mix that around on a neutral surface so that so it's evenly dispersed throughout the paint. And then once it's just barely painting, like once it's almost dry, then you brush it on, because you get the streaks a lot better. Those streaks are what makes it much more convincing. And you also want to look at what color foam you're using, because acrylic paint, you know, it's great for cosplay, but it doesn't last that long if you're putting it through a lot of stress. So like putting this hand in my jeans pocket to get my phone and take a picture with someone, like someone like Miles, who I just ran into in the RTX line, or not the line, just in the middle of the hallway. That was really cool. Or just, you know, a fan that recognizes my stuff on Instagram or Tumblr or something. You know, getting my phone out, and then like you know, 50 times a day, it wears the paint down. So if you use like a white or black probably would be useful, because it would blend in with the glove. Crap, I should have done that. That's actually a really good idea. Oh well. I used yellow craft foam so that even when the paint did chip off, it was relatively close to the same color, so that, you know, again, from far away, from that 5-foot rule that you want to follow with cosplay, if it's 5 feet away and it looks fine, you're good. No one, except for other cosplayers probably, is going to like heavily inspect your armor. I mean, they might, but that's okay. As a rule of thumb, 5 feet away, if it looks okay, you're good. So yeah, and so real quick, I'm gonna show you how all of the armor would go on. So usually, yeah, so you put the either the glove or the elbow pad on first. So that's the right one. And you probably should put the elbow pad on first just because you don't want to go past the gloves. So elbow pad first, then put the glove on. And you want to actually put the elbow pad much higher than you need it. And I'll show you why in a second. Because once you get, let's see, is that the right? I know I labeled these, but yeah, okay, that's the right one. But the reason you push the, sorry, just a sec, it's a little sticky, but that's okay. This is much easier with two people, but yeah, once you get this on, and I actually need it a little bit more. So you zip it down about halfway, and if you haven't seen this video, I would recommend going back and watching how I made the gauntlets first, because it all kind of ties in together. So you can see the elbow pad is above here, so then you can just like pull the elastic up like that, and then just kind of work its way down so it's over there, and it should fit right in that little dip there. So you see like the armor goes pretty evenly around here, and then there's that dip where the elbow pad can just kind of hover in between, and then you've got that nice, you know, border in between that. Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I'm recording like, I think 5 videos right now, just because I'm going back to Statesboro in about, I'm going to say 4 hours maybe, and I'm like, well, I don't want the backdrop to change like halfway through the showcase series. I'll just get all the videos out of the way now. And so my brain is basically mush, and honestly, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Let me actually get the armor on so you can see what you came for. There we go. So once you get a pin, and again, use a paper clip. I couldn't find one. I only had this thumbtack. But once you have that, you can see, so you've got the glove, the gauntlet, and the elbow pad. And so this will zip over the glove. You don't want it to go past it, because in the show, you know, you don't get that gap of skin in between everything. So honestly, I would say he actually has not less armor, but kind of less going on. Well, I don't know. Honestly, he's the type of armor between volumes 1 through 3 and volumes 4 and 5. Like they're clearly different, but you know, they still follow some of the same themes, which you can use a lot of the same techniques for. That being said, whereas the volume 1 through 3 stuff used a lot of leather work, you know, you can actually just use the elastic for this. And yeah, I think volume 4 is much more practical, because you can see this has a lot of arm coverage, and especially when you have that pauldron on the left side. Even though like from the waist down, he doesn't really have much armor, it still looks much heftier, and it shows like some really, really good character development. So I'm going to stop rambling right now. I know in the previous video I said this would be like 5 minutes long, but I got through the elbow part so quickly, I thought I would just, you know, show you this part. And yeah, so there's another look at the glove. Okay. And the elbow pad. So, yeah, that'll do it. Come back next week when, yeah, I'm going to leave the sword for last. So next week I'm going to be showing you Pyrrha's sash, RIP, and the belt. And then after that, we'll only have one more. So thank you for joining me. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you.